Hey everybody, it's Alison Heikkila. Thank you so much for joining me. We are going to do something a little different today. I am in the mood for some mixed media. I feel like getting my fingers full of paint and embossing powder and all sorts of stuff. So we're going to make something pretty cool. I don't really know how it's going to work out yet. I don't have it all planned out. You know how I roll. So we're going to just get to playing. First, I want to show you the substrate that we're going to be working on. This is like a pressed board. It's like MDF. This is really old, you guys. It's from Kaisercraft, and it's from their Beyond the Page collection. They do not make this anymore. I looked on their website. They have like alphabets and numbers, but they don't have a piece like this. But I use these a lot. They were from my old store, back when I had a scrapbooking and stamp store, and I just saved them. They came in a pack, and you're supposed to make like a book out of them, but I don't do that. I do stuff like this with them. I've had this hanging in my craft space for many, many years, since 2016. And this was done with all sorts of funky things. There's a whole tutorial on this on my blog, I believe, done with DecoArt products and Stampendous stuff and whatever. But you know, this was just a fun, cool thing. And I use these all the time. It's easy to punch a hole in. You can see there's one hole here, but I had to add a second because I wanted it to hang. I think I might have used my crocodile for this. You can use a Dremel tool. You can use whatever you've got. But it's easy to make a hole in them. But they're really good. They're smooth. They're durable. They like mediums. They take a lot of stuff. So that's what I'm using. I'm using these circles. So look around, see what you've got. Maybe you've got some pieces of wood that you can play with or something. Maybe you've got some other substrates at home already that you can work on. But that's what we're going to be working on. And then I grabbed some stuff I don't really play with very often because I haven't really had a chance to. I've got some paper dolls from Tim Holtz. This is from like, I think 2 years ago. And I picked her out. I thought she was really cool. She's sitting here. And we're going to have her on this circle. And then I grabbed more Tim Holtz stuff. What are these called? This is the Ephemera pack. I should have remembered that. Again, it's from like 2 years ago. 2021. And I found this guy. And I thought he would be perfect just hanging out on her hand. Like, this should be me. Sitting around in some kind of floofy, crazy, gothy dress. Victorian, with a crow on my arm. But my issue is that he is super matte and she has some shine to her. So we're going to start off with working with this crow. I'm going to push this stuff off to the side. We'll pull some more things from that shortly. But I've got this VersaMark pad and I'm going to just tap Mr. Crow here in the pad, just like this. This is a brand new VersaMark pad, so it's nice and juicy. You can see that there's a bit of a sheen there now. I missed a couple of spots there. That's fine. And now I've got some deep impression, chunky clear embossing enamel. Whatever clear embossing powder you've got will be fine. If you have a thick, go for it. If you don't, just put multiple layers. So now he's coated, right? So I got to get my tweezers because this is going to get a little hot. We're going to just dip him in again. I'm going to hold him by his leg here. Move this off to the side. I'll probably do a second dip. Let's get my embossing gun. You're going to hear this turn on. I'm going to get it nice and hot, and then we will melt all of this powder. I'm going to heat it from underneath, because you see these big chunky pieces like to pop off. Oh, we might not need another coat. This might be good enough. Yeah, you know what? One's good. Look how shiny he is now. See that? I think that that's perfect. All right. It also makes him more durable, which is good. Let's get this popped off, like so. There we go. Nice and shiny. We could add more if we want to, but I think that this is good. I actually kind of like that it's not perfect because it catches the light and it makes it look a little bit more interesting. So he's going to just sit on there like that. So originally I was going to make this like a moon, but I figured that that was kind of obvious, and I wanted to be a little bit more collage-y than that, instead of just like painting this, you know, a golden color or whatever, using stencils to make it look like a moon. So we're going to mess around with a few different things here. I've got Lost Shadow Distress Paint, and we're just going to give this a nice quick coat. I do not use my distress paints enough. I also don't have a big enough collection. And I really need to expand on it because the few times that I've gotten to really dig in and play with them, they're just great paints. And this is the only part of the distress line that is not water soluble. Once it's dry, once it's on, which I really like. And I thought that this was a good color for the background to start with. And you can see I didn't really put a whole lot on there, but it coats it really well. We could add a second coat if we want to, but I don't really think it's necessary because we're going to be putting stuff on top, and I don't need it to be perfect. Okay, that's going to take a couple of seconds to dry, and then we'll move on. I've got a really old paintbrush. This is a really gummed up brush, but the ends are pretty good. I like using brushes that are messed up for what we're about to do. So I've got Crackling Campfire Distress Paint now, and I shook it up pretty well. And I'm going to dip this very old crusty brush into it, wipe off some of that excess, and we're just going to kind of go across a little bit. Nothing perfect. Just want to add some color. And again, I really don't have a plan here. I'm just kind of doing what I do, which is just experimenting, seeing how I like it as I go, and, you know, changing it if I need to. That's fine. A little bit more on the side here, I think. That's better. Okay, so let's see what we're going to do with her. She's going to be hanging out here off the edge. It looks like she's sitting on the edge of the circle. He's going to be here. And then we've got these fun things here. I don't know what we're going to use though, so let's see if we have anything that we like. That might work. Kind of have to just pick through them, because no matter how many times you look at this stuff, you might forget that there's something in there. It's kind of neat. Coming off the side like that. I think that's a good start. Okay, so let me grab my medium and we'll start adhering things. Okay, so I grabbed my collage medium, but I changed my mind. We're not doing this part yet. We are going to add some other stuff. We need some more texture. There's not enough stuff happening. So I have this very old, I'm using a lot of old stuff today, you guys. Dreamweaver stencils, metallic copper embossing paste. I know that there are other brands out there that have metallic paste now. I just don't own them. You can try whatever brand you like, but you're not going to be able to find this particular one because unfortunately it's no longer being made. So I've got a palette knife here and I'm just going to apply this super messy, very different from when I'm working with stencils. I don't even mind that we have a couple of hard pieces here that are stuck. We're going to just leave them on there. And we're going to do something with this in a second, but I want to get a nice, thick, messy coat of this on here first. And I have to be honest, I'm struggling with with making this right now because I'm thinking about what I'm doing next and how I'm going to do it, only because I'm filming a video. And I'm not a good editor, so I stop and start my camera whenever I'm moving on to the next step and I need to grab a supply or something, so that this way I don't have to do a lot of editing in the end, because I don't really know how to do that stuff. So I'm not getting into kind of, it's not quite a meditative state, but just that kind of free flow thing that I usually have going on when I'm making pieces like this. So I'm thinking a little bit more and things are not coming as naturally. I don't know if that happens with you, if you keep getting interrupted and whatnot, if that messes you up, but it messes me up a little bit. I mean, we're going to have a great project in the end, but at the moment, it takes me a little bit longer because I'm thinking. Okay, so now I have aged green embossing powder. This is from Stampendous. Again, super old. Don't really know if you're going to be able to find this, but you can make something like this yourself. If you have different, if you have different types of embossing powders that have different sized granules, see that? There's chunks, there's thin bits, there's all sorts of nifty things. If you have something like that, in your stash, and you can just kind of grab a jar and put them all together in one, you'll be able to make something like this. Okay. I'm going to set this off here for 1 sec, clean this mess up, and then we'll heat set it. Now this is going to make all of the paste that we used bubble up, which some people are not a fan of. I happen to love the look. I think it's really cool, especially for Halloween. It's, it's a water-based paste, so all of that water that's in here is evaporating and causing it to bubble. So I'm going to get my gun again. Turn that on, let it heat up a little bit, and let's see what this does. Hopefully it'll look fabulous. You could probably hear it crackling too. Look at that effect. Alright, check that out. I mean, isn't that cool? It's smoking a little bit, but it's fine. I love that. Alright, we're off to a better start now. Well, better midpoint maybe? Is that where we're at? I don't know. And this is pretty dry. We can touch it and it's not going to go anywhere. I'm much happier with this now. So now we have our lady. What should we call her? I feel like she's Hilda. Is she a Hilda? I don't know, that just came to me. I think she's a Hilda. The plan is also that I'll be posting this video on Friday the 13th, so that's appropriate. That's the plan. We'll see if it happens. That's tomorrow for me in my time. I'm digging it. I think we're getting somewhere. Okay, so now I think that we can actually start adding some of these pieces on for real this time. I even have some other stuff that we can add on top, but we'll start with this. So I've got my collage medium. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to use a brush. I'm going to use my finger because, you know what? I should use a brush. I was going to use my finger because sometimes it's tricky to wash this stuff off. If it dries, your brush is toast. Well, we'll use this. We'll use this one again. Okay. Just gonna get a nice coat on here. I'll probably still smooth it out with my fingers because it's just easier. I just didn't want to dip my finger into the pot, but it's fine. I'll wind up being just as messy no matter what. All right, Hilda, come over here. Let's make sure you're good Nope, we gotta move that flower up. Okay. She's gonna sit right there. Yep, that's perfect. And it's okay that we lose some of this, it's fine. I'm not gonna cut it off the end here, and I'm not gonna fully tack it down, so you might be able to peek through and see it. I don't know. All right. It's time for Hilda. Come on, Hilda. You're gonna go on to your new home. Do you guys talk to your supplies? I kind of don't know if I talk to my supplies or if I'm just talking to her because I'm filming right now and I need to fill up the void of silence. He's gonna sit right there. Nice. I'm going to bring the collage medium all the way down, even though her legs are not on anything, but so that this way the shine matches, right? We have the same striations going on, the same imprints, and it doesn't look like, oh, you missed a spot, right? All right, see, now I'm dipping in with my finger because it's just easier. This like that. Okay. Good, good. And I think that I want to pop this guy up. I'm going to get some foam dots and I'm going to wash off this brush. And then we'll stick him down. I grabbed my foam tape from Therm. I was going to use little squares, but this was on top of everything, so it was just easier. And he's really sitting up above the whole thing now, which is great because his foam tape is so thick. That's looking pretty good. I will probably chop this off, but I'm not going to chop this off. We'll see. I changed my mind a lot. Okay, so now I have all of these fabulous ghoulish goodies. A lot of it's Tim Holtz, some of it is not. Like, this is an old sample bottle from Revlon. I don't know, I just like it. It's just a cool... I literally think that I was maybe 7 when I got this bottle from my mother. I've just had it for this whole time. I mean, you just never know when you're going to use this stuff. It's not hoarding, it's collecting. So I've got this bat, and you guys know, if you follow me, that I love bats. I think he's going to go there. What else do I have? I have a skull and crossbones. Doesn't really work with this, I don't think. I've got these bones. Maybe. I feel like it's forced. The bat is a definite. These are a little too big. I've got some flare. Maybe there'll be a piece of flare that'll work. That's not bad. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. What else we got? See, this is the same ticket, but we're not going to do that. Although it would be kind of neat to kind of blow up that area. It's a different size, though. That's kind of interesting. Kind of gives you a... I can't say the right thing. Like a mind, you know what? Am I even being coherent? Listen, I had a long day yesterday. I'm not going to get into it, but it was a day. It was a day, and I don't want to relive it. Everything's fine. Everything is totally fine. But we know that everything is fine because of what I did yesterday. It was a little procedure. So everything is cool. But I guess I'm still a little loopy from the anesthesia. Do we like that? Nope, I'm not feeling that. I like the bat very much. I'm going to fiddle. I'm going to fiddle for a couple minutes, and then I'll come back to you guys because I feel like it's taking a little longer than it should, and I need to focus. Okay, I think I got the missing element. We've got some moss that we're going to use. It actually didn't take me very long to figure that out, but that's the thing. That's what we're going to use now. Got some glue here. And this is not about having everything make sense. One thing doesn't necessarily have to go with something else. You know, if you wanted to use the skull and crossbones on here, you certainly can, you know, but it just wasn't working for me in this instant. But it's not like, well, why is there moss growing out of that ticket there? It doesn't matter. It's Halloween. You can get weird. I mean, I do weird stuff all year, so, you know. I'm digging that. Okay, let's glue him on. I'm going to use my on-point glue. I think I can use Collage medium, but I'm going to start with this and see how this works. Oop. Yeah, I don't think that's going to stay. We'll use something else. Okay, I wound up attaching the bat with Collage medium, and that worked out really well. And we got our moss here. You could stop here, but I feel like I need a little bit more stuff. So I'm going to clean up this moss and move these things out of the way. I do have something to hang this with shortly. I think we need, do we want red or do we want purple? I think we want purple. I was originally going to go for some red splatter, but I think that I just want some purple on here. I'm going to go in with the back of my brush. To see if I can get any marks that I like, and if not, I can always shift to the main part of the brush. Yeah, I think we're going to need to shift. But you see, this is my process. This is how I kind of figure stuff out. Do I like how this looks? Do I not? I'm not feeling this at all. So I'm going to clean that off and go in with the brush side and see if thinning this purple out a little bit, this Villainous potion, if this is going to cut it for me or if I'm going to just remove more of it. So right now it just looks like a big splotch, like a mistake. This, however, this I can get down with. That I like. This right here is very cool. So we need to thin this out a little bit more. Pick up a lot of this. I'm going to use this paper towel to pick up some of it. And the texture from the paper towel could be a good thing. And again, because the paint will dry and be permanent, we don't want to wait too long and think about it. And I tend to add some of a medium and then remove some of it and then add some more and then remove some, and it kind of works eventually. Like I get to a point where it's like, oh yeah, that looks cool now. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. You can dirty up that ticket a little bit. I really like what's happening here. That's much better. A little bit more under here, I think. I just want like a wash. So I'm thinning it out a whole lot with my brush. And the water, that was a little too much. Okay. I think that's pretty cool. Not a very long process. I could take hours and hours with this and slap layers and layers on. this piece that I showed you in the beginning, I don't know, it must have like 7 or 8 layers on it. But this is just a different thing, different project for a different time, using different products and methods. And I have this, again, really old Adornments. It's different fibers, and I thought that this one would be kind of cool. So I'm going to just cut a couple pieces of that, and we can tie it off. I might use 2 different ones, I don't know. If I can even get this in there. There we go. I should have let that purple dry. Because now it's all over me and I lost that effect that I had before. We'll go back and fix it. Still have it a bit, but not as much. There we go. See, now you know I'm thinking because I'm getting really quiet. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to tie this off and I'm going to call this done. So the point of the story here is to just get out your supplies and play. You don't need to have a plan. You don't need to follow rules. You don't need to worry about what the latest and greatest technique is. You can just get out your stuff and mess around. And if you hate it, you start over, or you go on top of it, or you layer something else. It's fine. You can still come up with something cool. I really like how this came out. I think it's pretty rad. Alright guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'm like contemplating, do I add more? Maybe I will. I don't know. I'm going to tie off this piece of fiber and then we'll see what happens. But I appreciate you guys hanging out. Happy Friday the 13th, because I think I will actually get this video up on time. I will see you guys very soon. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. But always be kind. Alright guys, be well, stay safe. Peace out.